Now, briefly, we show the construction of a segment 50% longer and parallel to an original segment starting at a given point. So here's our original segment. We simply put the point of the compass here, the pencil point here, swing an arc here, point of the compass here, swing an arc here, and draw the line through these 2 points. And that line, if the instruments are accurate and if they're used with complete accuracy, theoretically in other words, we have constructed a segment that's the perpendicular bisector of the original segment. It's perpendicular and it's through the center. Now already then we have a segment that's 50% as long as the original, so we can take the 2 points of the compass and mark the 50% distance and add that, but we want to do that on another line that starts at a given point that I specified here. Now this point just happened to be directly below this point, and I did that because that's kind of the way we want it in practice and what we're going to do to apply this, but I could have done this at any point. Okay, so the task is then to get a line through this point that's parallel to this segment. Now, it's very easy to get a line that's parallel to this one, okay, to this segment. I just take any 2 points on this perpendicular bisector and construct the perpendicular bisector of the segment between those points. That line, that allows us to define a line that's perpendicular to the perpendicular bisector of this line. Now, that means that the new line we've constructed, being perpendicular to this line here, is parallel to this line because this line is also perpendicular to this line here. Okay? So, when we get done, we're going to guarantee that if our construction has been done with 100% accuracy, we have a line that's 100% parallel. Again, in the real world, it's not possible to be 100% accurate. And with the instruments I'm using here on the board, it's even more difficult to be 100% accurate. To be even, accurate to within what we can see with our eyes. Okay. Well, anyhow, I construct this segment, and now I want to construct a line that's not only perpendicular to this segment, but goes through this point here. How do I do that? Well, I put the compass point here and I swing an arc here. Now, from this point to this point, and from this point to this point is the radius of the circle that I would have if I completed this entire circle, so that this distance is equal to this distance, making a triangle from here to here to here to here, isosceles. Now, property of isosceles triangle that of course requires proof is that an altitude, in other words a line from the apex to the opposite side, which we could regard as the base if this is going to be an altitude, has to be perpendicular and divides the triangle into 2 equal parts. Okay, well, so there's a little bit to this, but it's fairly intuitively not as, I don't want to say obvious, but plausible that this line, that then a line from here to here at a perpendicular that bisects the segment from here to here, and I'm not saying that quite right, but that this line is going to have to be perpendicular to this segment and therefore parallel to this one. So we take the bisector, the perpendicular bisector of these 2 lines, and we draw an extended perpendicular bisector. Okay, and as I drew it, it stops at this point, but it could have gone beyond this point. Okay? Wasn't necessary for it to go this direction. I did want to extend it long enough here that we could construct a line 50% longer than this one along this line. So we do the perpendicular bisector of the segment from here to here. Okay, that perpendicular bisector has to go through this point by the isosceles property of this triangle. So we get a line parallel to the original, then it becomes very easy to construct a line 50% longer than the original. We just take our compass points here and here, and we can mark this point, which is going to occur right at the intersection between this original perpendicular bisector and this perpendicular bisector of the new segment. And that kind of verifies our construction, and that works out pretty well. And then we mark that distance again, and now we have a line equal to the original. And then we mark that same distance again, and now our line is 50% longer than the original.